Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everyone.
everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope everybody is having a lovely week. Can you believe it? It's almost May, right around the corner.
Next week.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at my calendar, crazy. Oh, awesome. Well, welcome. It looks like we have a good number of you joining us. This morning, we are going to be talking about how to get your level 2 background checks for your staff. For those of you who are new providers to the Children's Trust, I believe many of you have met me through other channels, but my name is Anna Delernia, and I'm a consultant with the Children's Trust, and I'll be talking you today through today's training. We also have Diana. Are you on still? Where did you go?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Diane, there you are. Hi, Diane, could you introduce yourself too?
Good morning. My name is Diane Harris, and I am the chief of the background screening program. And I've been with the background screening program since 2011. So a number of years now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us as we get ready for summer camps and enrichment providers to start their services. As all of you are aware, and we also have Dion here representing the trust. This will be recorded, and I did include today's slides, and I'm going to drop the resources link for those of you who had joined me for the kickoff trainings. We have a resource link. And for if you're a summer camp provider or if you're an enrichment provider, we have 2 different links for you, and it has all of your specific trainings. And as the contracts continue on, more resources and more trainings will be added there. It's just basically your one-stop shop to get started. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to get started with today's training. So as you can see, we're going to go over the background check requirement as part of all of your contracts. Today's agenda is going to be what is a level 2 background check? How do you go very specifically and register for your ORI and OCA numbers? Once you have those, then you will register through the ACA portal. And also I'll walk you through how to initiate a background screening, plus share all the resources. And then we have Diane here to answer any questions. Sorry, my throat just got all dry.
I also want to let everyone know we are recording this, and we'll have that available at a later date, just in case you want to go back and go over something again if you may have not remembered.
Exactly. So just to start us off, what's a level 2 background check? So this is from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. These are fingerprint-based background checks that should be conducted on employees holding positions of trust and responsibility, such as those working with elderly, children, and other vulnerable groups. So as you might recall from all your contracts, we do require level 2 background checks to be completed through the clearinghouse with live scans as part of this contract. So all of your contracts will have some sort of level 2 background checks for your staff. Okay, the first thing to get started for those who are brand new to this process, anybody want to raise their hand? And who doesn't have this fun number, which is called your ORI or OCA numbers? Anybody want to say they're new and their agency doesn't have this information yet? Okay, I see Melinda raising her hand. Anybody else want to raise their hand? Nope. Okay, well, at least Melinda was brave enough. Thank you, Melinda. So this is your first step for your agency to start to basically be authorized to get the background checks, right? So you can't even start the process until you secure these numbers. So your ORI number is your originating agency identifier, and it's provided by FDLE, and that's the agency. So for instance, the name of your organization that is requesting to have your staff get the background checks, okay? And so if anybody says your ORI number, that is it, and that is the number you need to register through the portal, and also to basically give your employees or the live scan. So step one is definitely getting this secured. Also, you will be requesting your OCA number, and that is provided by DCF and identifies the provider requesting the background check. So without either of these numbers, you cannot start essentially this process. So step one is getting this. So how do you get this, your ORI or OCA numbers? Well, this is what you need to do. You need to basically have your facility name, your physical address, your mailing address, a valid email, contact person, and a phone number, and send this information to background.screening@myflfamilies.com. Upon registration, then you will be given your ORI and DCF through this email. Diane also says she can help support this. And Diane, could you drop maybe your email in the chat?
Sure.
Perfect. We are very fortunate to get this type of support for our provider. So awesome. So I will also include Diane's email in here. So if it's urgent, because obviously we want people, especially for summer camps right around the corner, and enrichment services, we want everybody to start services. So this is one thing you're going to need to get started. Any questions about step one? If you're starting from scratch, you need this information first before you can initiate the next step. Okay. Anybody have any questions about this? And again, this is how you get your information. And this information is critically important because you will not be able to register for the clearinghouse unless you have this. Step one, got it? Everybody clear what step one is? Okay. Okay. And honestly, if you don't have it, I would do it today. Make sure that you're getting this done as soon as possible. Now, once you do have your information, then step two is to register yourself as a representative for your organization with the clearinghouse. Okay. So the background screening clearinghouse provides basically a single source, and it's administered by AHCA, which is Agency for Healthcare Administration. And they administer this program for all kinds of different agencies for background checks, so even healthcare agencies, but childcare providers also fall under the clearinghouse as well. The clearinghouse lets you access, basically it's a giant repository and a way for us to connect information and also for you to manage your background checks all in one place. So again, you can't do this until you have your ORI or OCA numbers. But once you do, you will register a representative for your organization with the clearinghouse. Now, I clicked on the wrong thing, sorry. And then once you do that, I'm clicking wrong, sorry guys. So once you are ready to register your representative for an organization, you will go to this website, which is the AHCA sign-on, and you will start a new registration. You'll accept the user agreement and you'll complete all the fields on the registration page. During this step, you'll also create a username and password. It is very important you do not forget your password, okay? As a reset, the reset instructions are very long and complicated because of federal laws and policies. Say this with me, very hard to reset your password. Please write that down, okay? That's a common error I have seen, so please make sure you're doing that when you first start the clearinghouse. Pick a strong password that is secure, but one that you will not forget. Again, this is for your agency, so please be very mindful of this. So this is what you're doing on the AHCA portal, and this is what the AHCA portal looks like. And then I'm going to walk through all of these steps with you. Basically, you will go, once you return to login, you'll log in with that newly created username and password, and you'll be able to access your specific program's background screening clearinghouse. Once you're in there, you'll select program under background screening and clearinghouse. You'll select Department of Children and Families as the agency, because that's the agency we want access to in the clearinghouse. Again, multiple government agencies use the clearinghouse. For us, we want to use the Department of Children and Families, and then you will request access to that clearinghouse, and it'll take you to a new page. And from there, you will select yourself as the provider and type in your provider information. Majority of you will be, your provider type will be summer camps, but there is also an enrichment option as well. So for those that just look for summer camps or enrichment from your drop-down list and enter your provider name a list of providers should populate, and you should select your name from the drop down list and then add provider. Once you've entered all that, you can you should populate a request provider section. And if all information is correct, then you click submit and generate user agreement. So this is how you as an agency start getting access to the clearinghouse once you've registered through your ACA account. Any questions about these steps? Questions?
Hi, this is Diane. I just wanted to, while we're here at this page and talking about whether you are looking for access as a summer camp or an enrichment program, there are different, qualifications for those. So it's important that you get the correct one. And yeah, I do want to reinforce, you need to remember your password and your user ID, because it's amazing to me, people forget what they put for their security questions. So make sure you choose a security question that you absolutely will always know the answer to, because we, the department nor ACA, can reset your password for you. So if you somehow forget it or whatever, then you're going to have to create a brand new user ID.
Yes. Please make sure you write all that down. There's a question about how long does it take to receive your ACA and ORI numbers? Do you have an estimate of time, Diane?
No, but that's what I said. I mean, if it's critical, you can send it to me.
Okay.
And I'll route it.
You'll route it. Perfect. Can you go back to the page that details the information that is needed to be emailed? Sure, I'll go back. And again, you guys have access to these slides already. I can go back. See here, here's the information. And honestly, I'll drop this all in the chat as well, just so if you wanted to start this process, I'll just drop it in the chat. So you could even follow along with me. And if you guys look on if you're an enrichment provider, just as a reference, you have access to this, and it has the background check PowerPoint here. And also if you're a summer camp, it has your other trainings in here. Okay, perfect. Good questions. Okay.
I had a quick question, Anna.
Sure.
Actually, this is for Diane. Diane, you're with Department of Child and Family Services, correct?
Yes, I'm with the Department of Children and Families.
Children and Families. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so once you go through this process, again, be very mindful about your username, password, make sure, and your security questions have access to this, and select the right type of provider, either summer camps or enrichment based on your username. And then you will create this document, which is your background screening user registration agreement. So after clicking all that, you will see a document that looks pretty similar to the one I have on the right over here. And you will open a printable copy of the document by clicking on the prompt on the right-hand corner. You must print and sign the document and return it to the agency that is listed on the top left of your document. Okay, you can mail it, you can scan the document and email it to the email address listed, or you can fax it. Okay, see how mine over here has, in my case on the right, I could mail it to the Office of Background Screening, or I could scan and email it to background.screening@myflfamilies.com. Okay, there's also a video link on how to do this too that is provided by DCF as well. So I've also included a video in case you wanted to see this live, so you could also follow it along.
It's also important that there are two signatures at the bottom. The user, the person that's going to be going into the system, will sign, and then there needs to be a second signature for like a supervisor or director or someone like that. We also need a copy of your driver's license. So, and those we have to save into our system. So I would ask that you send it in a PDF rather than just putting a picture of it in the email.
Good advice. PDF your documents along. So 2 signatures, 1 with a supervisor, and also with your license copy. Okay, any questions so far? So far, we've gone through the process on how to get your ORI and OCA numbers. And then once you have that, you would register through the ACA portal to the clearinghouse. This is basically step 1 and step 2. Questions? Nope. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so once you are all set up in all those in the portal, the clearinghouse, then you can start your background screenings. And there is, I'm going to go over really quick, like there's FAQs about who should be screened. These are the summer camp ones, but I believe they're relevant to both background at the summer camps and enrichment providers. Who needs to be screened, any differences, what are all these things? I do recommend reading through all of the frequently asked questions related to summer camps. So you know exactly what you need to do when it comes to your background checks. The other resource that we have is available to you, and it's this PDF on how to initiate a background screening when in the clearinghouse. Again, what you're signing up your agency for with that ORI and OCA number is access to the clearinghouse, and through the clearinghouse is how you initiate background screenings. So I'm just going to go over this document with you just so you know, see what resources are available to you, how, like what does this look like? There's screenshots in here, so it walks you through all the steps you would need once you already have your ACA logins. So this is for the background screening homepage. You'll be able to access your background screening clearinghouse with the DCF. If you want to, once you're approved for those background house screening, then you will be able to initiate. And you'll see here your program, the provider name. So in my case, Summer Camp ABC, and they've been approved for the clearinghouse. Then you would go ahead and select the agency. And then you can start the screenings by going to the initiate search or initiate screenings. So this is an example of the search option for looking through with social security numbers, last name, or date of birth to search through the clearinghouse to get ready for the background checks and initiate the background screenings. You want to initiate a new screening. Again, you would put the social security number and the name and initiate screening. And you would enter the information of the person you want to get screened. First name, last name. Can I increase the font size? Sure, I can make it bigger. Is this better?
Anna, before you move on a little bit more, Mr. Rollins had a question. If an organization already has access, are they required to reapply based on this, our requirements here at the trust?
If you already have access to the ACA portal, then you don't have to get an ORI number again. You just go ahead and add your program and you initiate. You already skipped the steps I went over already. You can just log into your ACA portal and start your background screenings through there. Does that answer your question? Sure. So if you are ready, you would just go ahead and start initiating screenings. You would just go, you already have access to the clearinghouse. It would already be in your portal.
Also, Ms. Carey had a question. She's been doing her background checks through UF Systems. Ms. Carey, our contract require you to go through DCF for background screening, level 2?
Yes, everybody must go through the clearinghouse with live scan background checks.
I think that's how UF has been doing it, but I will double check to see if they're already going through this system.
Yeah, because there's definitely differences in background checks. So these are the specific ones we need. Sure. Perfect. Okay, again, this is the screen for initiating your background checks. Once you're in there, you would type in all the information for the employee or volunteer that you're getting background checked with all of this. And then if you need to select prior states, then you can select this information. This is a handy document because it literally walks you through step by step. And then you would you would add the position that they are applicable to. And then they would get the live scan. Select the live scan provider. You can skip this as well, I believe, if you're allowing them to just pick their own live scan provider. Is that correct, Diane?
Yes, that's correct.
And there are many live scan providers all over the place. So I would recommend just kind of Googling live scan providers near you. I know in Alachua County, there are some that are cheaper than others. It's like they vary in price for background checks. They're normally like $60 to less than $100 oftentimes. So I would just recommend Googling some live scan providers so you can give that to your employees as well for them, because they physically have to go into a location to get their fingerprints done for the live scan with your live scan form, which will they show you how to, search for an appointment. Most of the time, I feel like people just go directly and find their own. And then when you print this live scan request form, this is what your employees would take to go get their background screening. And it's super important that they take this with them. Otherwise, they won't be able to do the background check and it won't tie back to you. And as you can see, your ORI number is on here as well as the screening number. So the background check is tied back to the database under your agency. So the background checks are in your account and portal. And so you can see their clearance directly. And that's what you need for documentation for your contracts as well. And that's basically it when it comes to the live scans. Obviously, you can feel free to use this when you're ready at whatever stage. There is all kinds of additional information in here, including the information of what it looks like for receiving the scans, looking at their demographics, looking for screenings in process. Quite a bit of information in the portal and in the clearinghouse. So I'm not going to go over this at length, but you have access to this PDF. This is linked into the PowerPoint here. Okay. And there is also training guides as well. Again, there's videos here when it comes to navigating the ACA portal and signing up for the clearinghouse and all of those things. So if you need some training videos, there's some really good ones here. But I will say, number one thing is don't forget your passwords or anything like that. That's the number one struggle you'll have with the portal. And the help desk is very helpful too. You feel free to call the help desk. I've had lots of success with them. They have been very helpful. And fortunately for us, we also have Diane here, so she can also help support with emails as well. But I would recommend, honestly, it's very much a step-by-step process, and you just have to go through that step-by-step process depending on where you're at as an agency. So some of you already have been performing background checks, so it's just a matter of getting your new employees background checked again. Others of you will be starting all the way from scratch. So just for reference, I made you a little flow chart to figure out where you need to go, just to remember. So if you have your ORI and OCA numbers, then you go to the ACA portal to register. If you already have your ACA portal, then you can go ahead and start initiating background screenings. You can receive results in your ACA portal, and you can also initiate resubmissions for staff members as well through the ACA portal for those who have been with you before. And I think as long as their fingerprints are less than a year old. Is that right, Diane, to do the resubmission?
Yes.
Okay. So if you had, for instance, employees hired last summer, you could have them that have already gone through the clearinghouse. There's like a section in the portal where it's called resubmit for staff members. But if it has been more than a year, then they also have to go again to get their live scan. Is that right? Did I get that right?
As long as their fingerprints are retained, which they are, and it's important to make sure that they've got a photograph uploaded at the same time. And the vendors, all the live scan folks know this. Then they don't actually have to go down and be actual fingerprinted again. You can just do that resubmission, and because the fingerprints are retained, that means that FDLE bounces all the fingerprints against people that have gotten arrested and the fingerprints that have been submitted to them, so that we and you will get notification if a person is arrested. And then basically what you're doing is updating the FBI portion. So the resubmission is about $15, I think. So you don't have to pay that whole upfront again.
Great. Yeah. So
You're just doing that resubmission, and like I said, it's about $15.
nice. That's great. And so if you already have those employees in there, do the resubmission. Awesome. Saves money and time for everybody. Okay, that is basically it, everyone. Again, the most important thing for you all is to get your ORI or OCA numbers, go through that process to request it, go through and register for ACA portal if you haven't already, once you have those numbers, and then you can start through the clearinghouse your all of these next steps. And that is it for our training. Again,
Hold on,
it is.
Anna.
Oh, yeah, okay. Go ahead.
I got Miss Thomas, are you still here? Could you ask your question? I think Diane will probably have to answer this for her.
Yes, my question was, we do have a portal set up with the ORI and OCA numbers, but it's through our preschool program. So would we need to open an additional account for our summer program?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And you would follow the steps for here. I believe you would
Yes.
start at step 2, essentially.
Okay, thank you so much.
But
it-
what you do,
right.
we can just go in and log in under your current login, and then just add summer camp as a provider.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Once you get the OCA for the summer camp, you don't have to have separate logins for that. You can use the same login and just select which program you want to screen for.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Perfect. Gloria has a question for resubmission. Does this apply to all who are currently employed or for the ones who return every summer? So-
That would be for the ones that return every summer.
Okay. And then Melinda, you had a question about Alpha Portal or Aqua Portal. It's called the ACA, which is ACA is the name of the agency, AHCA. It's the Agency for Healthcare Administration. So I'm just saying the acronym ACA, which is a very common name for it. Is that clear, Melinda? But yeah, this is what it's called. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the ACA portal. Okay. Any more questions? Please take advantage of this time with Diane. I would definitely.
Actually, I had, this is Jennifer Mullis from Santa Fe. I had 2 questions. I want to clarify something because I thought, and I may have misread this, I thought like for your permanent staff, they had to be re-fingerprinted every 5 years, correct? Or is that now just a 1 year? And this would be for permanent staff that's there year round.
Permanent staff that's there year round have to be rescreened every 5 years.
Every 5, okay,
Um,
that's where I got that, okay.
Yeah.
And then the ones, anybody that's, if they return within a year, so if they're the last year teachers that are coming back, they have to just be resubmitted, correct?
Correct.
Okay, my next question, are there any parameters for screening minors?
No,
So there's not a parental consent form or anything like that that's required?
no,
Okay,
they can be fingerprinted.
okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good questions. Any other questions?
And I have a question for Diane. This is Joyce from New Tech Now. We have our numbers. I send in the registration agreement, and I have the handbook for doing just like you just went through. But because when I sent in the registration agreement, I never heard. I mean, if I have the numbers, can I assume that we're approved for everything? I never heard anything after I sent in the user agreement.
Well, you should have gotten something from the system saying that you,
That it
Right.
was accepted, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So should,
Shoot me a quick email and I'll look into it.
okay, then my next question is we deal with a contractor who we have to have fingerprinted. But once we do that, can we use, that contractor also works for other nonprofits. Can that contractor use that, say, is that fingerprinting just for the Children's Trust? Or can she use those records for other nonprofits?
If,
Other-
if the other nonprofits are screening through the department or one of the agencies that's in the clearinghouse,
uh-huh.
then yes. But we can't just give them, you know,
Okay, but she's been fingerprinted about 3 times for the different school systems. Or
yeah,
so-
see, the school systems aren't currently in the clearinghouse.
uh-huh.
So those are separate screenings and you can't use one for the other.
Okay, so we just have to redo it again. Okay. But if she goes to other nonprofits, could she use that same screening?
If they're in the clearinghouse, yes.
Okay, great.
That's
Thank you.
sort of the purpose of it.
Okay.
Of the clearinghouse is that people don't have to be rescreened.
Uh-huh.
There was a bill that was filed this session that would allow the school districts to be in the clearinghouse. It didn't pass, but it did get some traction. So we're looking
And she was screened. I don't know if you're familiar with Arts for All, which is another nonprofit. She had to be screened for that. And so can I check and see if that is in the system?
Yes. Now, what'll happen is that before you initiate a screening,
Uh-huh.
the system will require you to search for that person. If they're already in there, again, you don't have to go down and have them fingerprinted as long as they've got a screening that has a photograph with it, then you can use that.
Okay. Okay. That's great. All right. I just was trying to save $75.
Absolutely.
Understandable.
Okay.
here-
Thank you.
Here's what it looks like, the search button here.
And that's on page. That's in the provider
Yeah,
book I
Yeah.
have. Okay.
correct. Yeah, but this is what it would look like. You would search by their social security number or last name.
Okay. Thank you.
But I still think if you search Diane, you also have to pay, you pay the $15, right?
15 instead of 75.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any more questions? None?
I actually have a question, Anna. This is Jennifer Mullis again. So what are the only change really from the procedures last year to this year
Mhm.
would be, there aren't really any changes. This is the exact same procedures we went through last year, correct?
Exactly the same. Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that nothing had changed. Okay.
Nope, nothing has changed. You guys are just overachievers and came to a non-required training. Okay, well, if there's no more questions, I really appreciate having Diane here and answering all your questions. Again, please make sure you complete your sign-in sheets for today so we can take account of your trainings. Next steps are really to start working through all of this documentation and then getting through your clearinghouses and screenings, ordering your resubmissions for those that already are in the system. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. We also have Diane's email address, which I will put in here as well as a resource. So I'm going to put that as a resource into the screenings. But for the most part, a lot of this stuff can be done just by following the steps. So I just want to make sure you guys have self-service as well. Okay. But if you have issues or things, reach out to our wonderful resource at DCF. And also your contract managers will be happy to help as well. So anything else? Dion, anything else you want to add?
Not at this time. Just make sure they're completing your sign-in link for participation today, so we can monitor that. But like Anna said, feel free first to reach out to DCF, if not to Diane, and then if that we at the trust as contract manager should be your last stop, because they would be better of a resource to answer any questions for you first before we can.
Definitely. They're the experts. So giving you a lot of resources to get you started. And it's not very often that we get an opportunity to directly speak with DCF. So really appreciate having Diane here.
Glad to be here. Thank you all.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for what you're, the work you do for children across Alachua County. So we're very excited to see this. And, background checks can be a little bit of a dry topic, but obviously very important when it comes to child safety. So appreciate all of you. And if there's nothing else, then we are done and ahead of schedule. Again, all of this PowerPoint is in. I will drop again the links for the PowerPoint so you can have direct access to them. You have direct access and Diane's email is in there already. So I would click on those links, save that link, and we'll also send you a follow-up. If there are any more questions, just got to get started or continue for those who are, refreshing. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.